Alright, so welcome everybody. This is going to be game number 1 in a best of 5 in between the White Eagle, a Polish team featuring Dziam as Indians in yellow and Jack as Ethiopians in red. On the other side, DauT and Slam, the moment everybody has been waiting for, is here. We're gonna have DauT playing as Mayans in green and Slam is playing Slavs in blue. This is Empire Wars Duo round of 16s, and we're gonna have Slam opening with a stable, only a single Voyager constructing it, and Jack is around. Jack could easily deny that stable, and that could be an excellent start for the Polish team. The stable is denied, and there is not even a single Voyager that could help this poor man out here. This is absolutely awful for Slam. That stable is already delayed, and actually I think that Jack could commit and try to snipe that Voyager. For now, that is going to be a stable that will eventually go up, but if you take a look at this one, Jack already popping out the spears and the archers, and you could also see the scouts already coming in here for Dziam. Now, archer range, just a single one for DauT, as right now, Dziam is trying to block the wall, foundation spearman coming in here for DauT. And honestly, this stable is going to be very, very late for Slam. Spearman is already out, and a second range comes in here very fast. This gold mine could also be exposed. This isn't looking very good for Slam, to be honest, and in the meanwhile, DauT is walling to the edge of the map, scouts come in, and will try to commit to snipe that Voyager. With good micro, Dziam can actually do this. He's dragging away the spearman with one of the scouts, and look at that micro from Dziam. Look at that micro from Dziam. That is one hit for that Voyager, and there is also more scouts coming in, so unless DauT makes a miracle kickball here, this lady is dead, and indeed she is. And simultaneously, there is spears and archers coming in here inside DauT's base. And we talked about the fact that DauT and Slam are the favorites, but this game mode is so underused, underplayed, that any team can surprise over here. And this is exactly what we're seeing from the Polish one. They caught the start perfectly, I have to say. So, DauT lost the Voyager, Slam is under massive pressure. He kind of had to abandon his woodland. He has to start making skirms, which is already a pretty disaster, I would say, for him. Because you never want your scouts player to start making skirms in large quantities, because then he cannot really invest into the scouts as much as he wants to. Meanwhile, some more scouts running around here. Some of them are somewhat weak as Dziam tries to pick off that eagle. That is not gonna happen. He eats a shot from a spearman, but in the meanwhile, Jack is going to find this wood line. There is actually a hole, I believe, indeed, and 2 scouts aren't really going to protect you from what is 6 Ethiopian archers with fletching and also quite a lot of spearmen. Right now, Slam is running for his life, and in the meanwhile, there is still quite a lot of scouts here from Dziam. I wonder if he's going to commit to this one. He's a lot of weak scouts, and indeed, he's just going to lose a few here, so that wasn't ideal for him. But I think what matters is this one. Look at the pressure at the face of Slam. Now, with the skirms in, this could be harder for Jack, but I feel like this is the moment when Dziam just needs to send his scouts over here and try to help out Jack here with the pressure, pick off the remaining skirmishers, or just raid this wood line over here. But if you combine the 2 armies over here, there should be a massive advantage for Jack and Dziam. Meanwhile, DauT might be fully walled very, very soon, so as I said, these scouts really need to get in here and start pressuring Slam. Now, this could be an awful fight for Jack if he loses these spears, which seems likely. Oh boy. If he loses the spears, all of these archers will be exposed to the scouts, and suddenly things are gonna go very, very bad, but another wood line is going to be exposed here, and indeed, Jack is switching his attention towards DauT or Slam here. It's not looking great for DauT and Slam. 42 eco for Jack, 40 for Slam. Dziam is only at 36, which is a little bit surprising. I think he might have gone for Wilbur already. And he's also doing double stable scouts, so they feel the blood in the water and they're actually gonna go for the kill in here. They're not planning to drag this into Castle Age, just wanna go super aggressive. That is +1 armor, bloodline scouts, going straight towards the berries, the wood lines, and in the meanwhile, what is DauT's plan? DauT's plan is to click up into Castle Age. Now, this could work nicely because Dziam is so open that those crossbows could kill a lot of stuff, but in the meanwhile, Slam is also quite open, so it could be basically Dziam traded to Slam here. The scouts from Dziam need to engage the skirms though. This is actually a must-have in this one. Nice micro so far, I would say, from the Poles, but Slam is also pretty good with defense so far. So the only concern I believe is that Dziam is having quite a low villager count, and if that's not for wheelbarrow, then he had a lot of idle time on the TC. Now, that's not a lot of skirmishers from Slam, and I think they really need DauT to save the day here. He's coming in with the spears and the crossbows, but this also means that they cannot counterattack, which is a concern. I feel like it would have been better if DauT moves forward and kills Dziam, because he could have killed Dziam here, as it appears that... well, Slam is losing quite a lot of wheels. 44 still is his wheel count, which is pretty nice. But he's not going into Castle Age. He has 15 idols consistently, and he could actually trade armies here with DauT, which would be perfect. In fact, this is what he has to do. Trade off those archers to DauT's archers before DauT can upgrade them. I'm not sure why they're not doing that, but I think once they realize DauT is up in Castle Age, they will probably try to go for that. Right now, they're just trying to kill as many villagers as they can, but this will be a perfect fight for Dziam and JackK. Trade off the feudal age armies, and then DauT has basically no army, and Slam is kind of battered right now. Meanwhile, no armor on JackK's archers. DauT does have it, and DauT also has quite a lot of archers moving towards Dziam's base. Dziam doesn't really have a lot to defend with, although there is more and more scouts coming in. He's getting close to cleaning up the Castle Age. In fact, he could buy himself up right now. As DauT up in the Castle Age, this is the moment when JackK needs to commit and try to take this fight and kill these archers before they're upgraded to something a lot stronger. Goes for the Spearman and waits until the scouts can engage, but I think DauT is gonna have the crossbows by then. And also DauT is looping in here, emergency quos coming in here for Dziam. Oh boy, DauT and Slam coming back into this one, I believe. Now JackK is also close to clicking up, so he could just fall back and go for the crossbowman himself, and I think that at this very moment Dziam is just gonna pull the scouts back, and that is just 5 crossbows. I think that 10 scouts with +1 armor and forging should be able to take this one, and in the meanwhile JackK is going to probably evade the army of DauT here, but as I'm saying that, they actually find that army, and that's pretty awful. Crossbow and Bot King coming in here in this very moment, and apparently Dziam kind of has to run for his gold mine. Oh boy, that's quite a lot of villagers dead. Dziam is down to 39, which is the lowest in the game. That's actually a horrible situation for him to be in. Now, JackK is gonna go for fast ballistics. Wouldn't be surprised to see fast thumbring here as well. Triple ranges, that's a full commitment towards archers. And it's still not over yet. I mean, that's a lot of crossbows, and they could just try and go and camp beneath that tower if they want to. Slam is going to be the final player up in the Castle Age, and remember that Indian camos also received quite a lot of extra pierce armor, so they're not as bad against archers as other camos are. On the other hand, Dziam cannot really go for knights, so the damage output isn't as huge as it could possibly be. The problem here for Slam is that he doesn't really have any safe eco. Right now, Slam has no villagers on wood. Actually, there is 1 vill on wood for Slam right now. That's really chopping trees. That's actually awful. So his eco isn't really great. Despite the fact that Dziam took quite a significant beating over here, I feel like they are fine because Slam's eco is just so weak right now. There's so much idle time, and look at that. He has to make a wood line over there because he's just getting a great sword. Look at Slam. He's running for his life. He's running for his life over here, and in the meanwhile, scouts catch DauT's archers here. DauT is at 19 military still, which is pretty nice, but he's grouping at home. Camos are coming in here for Dziam. Camos and Mangonels would be great as the scouts pour in. Oh boy, if they get in here, this is going to be a slaughter. Look at how Slam is just struggling to get any kind of wood control for himself, any kind of space, basically. There's just nowhere to run. He essentially has no eco, as he's trying to get up to Castle Age. We'll try to go for knights here, but it's going to be single stable knights. And he's even going for Botkin. Crossbows coming in here. Those are Ethiopian crossbows, and they do have ballistics. +2 armor is coming in here for DauT. And JackK is not patrolling. JackK is not patrolling, which wasn't that great for him, trying to run away right now. Still, Slam's eco isn't glorious. DauT, on the other hand, is doing a pretty nice boom over here, already on 3 town centers. So in the long run, he could actually able to outboom the opponent. And indeed, this is why Ethiopians are so strong on Empire Wars 2v2 Arabia as an archer civ. Because you can go for a fast thumbring, and that's going to make your archers extremely lethal. Now, +2 armor is still incoming for JackK, so he needs to kind of delay this fight until he gets thumbring and +2 armor, but then he's just gonna melt DauT's army here. And what's great is that Dziam still has quite a lot of scouts. And in the meanwhile, what is DauT doing? DauT has a sneaky villager here. I wonder if this is coming for a siege workshop or a monastery, as Slam tries to get a TC up here again, just to be denied. His gold mine is so exposed. And now Slam and Dziam have even villager count in this one. Some more spears are here from DauT, but those scouts could just easily kill them. In fact, Dziam is going to upgrade to light cav here. It's worth it so much for them. And elite skirms, this is so perfect for the Polish team. They managed to keep those scouts alive, which means that these elite skirms could just die. There is nowhere to run for these elite skirms. Oh, that's awful. That's absolutely awful. They cannot run anywhere, and the only lucky thing here for Slam is that Dziam apparently didn't notice these elite skirms, because he could have killed half of them, at least. Anyways, the attack will be shifted towards DauT's base right now. Crossbows coming in. 30 military for Jack, 21 for DauT only. And these light cavs are still good enough to harass Slam, because Slam doesn't even have a single knight. Meanwhile, TC is gonna kill a few crossbows here, which is far from ideal. And if you take a look at the ecos, Jack has 63, DauT has 69. DauT is playing with the free town centers. I think Jack is only on... Jack is also on free. I have to say that Jack is doing a great job. What is the Sneaky Will doing? It's building a house. That's what he's doing. And in the meanwhile, these skirms coming in this direction, the light cav could just take a fight against them, which would be perfect. Archers against archers, but these are fully upgraded Castle Age Ethiopian archers. So this should be a fight that's great for Jack. And I have to say that Jack is playing this one so well. Look at that. He keeps all three TCs working all the time. Ethiopian, fast ballistics and tumbling crossbows, and he can actually keep pace with DauT in terms of booming, which is a huge achievement, I would say. Now, this isn't a great fight, I would say, for Dziam, and once the skirms arrive, this army is dead. So they essentially trade armies, but suddenly there is a lot of camels, and what do you have against those camels? Not much, honestly. And meanwhile, Dziam is going to find that house. I think the villager is already dead. So... for now, Jack is just patrolling back at home, and I wonder if he is considering clicking Imp. Looking at his eco, that's a very realistic possibility. In the meanwhile, DauT is trying to get some stone for himself to get a castle up, but oh boy, that is going to be quite a lot of villagers dead. And as I said, these camels are pretty sturdy. 3 pierce armor. They're not invincible, but they're just gonna get stronger and stronger, and they could just go towards Slam base, because Slam only has skirmishers in this one. So, if these camels move towards Slam's base... In fact, I'm somewhat surprised that Dziam doesn't have better camel numbers, so I guess he was just focused on booming. Indeed, he's just gonna drop TC number 3, and if you take a look at the ecos, DauT has 82, Jack has 76, Slam is down to 66 though, Slam dropping another TC, Slam is booming on 4 though, so in the long run he could actually get back into this game, and the skirms are coming in to destroy the crossbows. I don't think that Slam has ballistics, and those crossbows have tumbling as well, so this is not a fight that Slam can take. But still, there is going to be a need to deal with those skirmishers in the long run, because for now, Jack only has archers, but soon those are going to be arbalests, and that's where things are gonna get really problematic for DauT and Slam. DauT still far... Actually, he just flipped up into Imperial, so he's fine. And where are the camels up to? The camels are apparently going to switch towards Slam. That's exactly what they have to do. Siege Workshop coming in here for Jack, touching the edge of the hill, which means that it actually has the hill bonus. Nice placement over there. And again, those skirmishers could get surrounded. Now, as I said, since camels don't have a great base attack, they don't really have a great performance against archers and skirmishers, but they are better than general camels. Anyways, for now, this is just going to be an attempted surround on those skirms, and this also is going to allow Jack to get his siege workshop up here halfway towards Imperial. He is. The problem is that Slam is not even close to Imp, and Dziam is getting closer. So at some point there is going to be massive amounts of camels coming in here. DauT dropping some outposts for some more vision and adding more ranges. He's getting close to dropping a castle, but he's not there just yet. And that's a lot of camels with anti-building bonus, so they could deal a lot of damage to buildings. For now, DauT is sending in the crossbows here to reinforce. But the problem for Slam is that he's running for his life with his farmers. Again, 14 farmers working only. All these lands are barren, abandoned, because there is just no people, no villagers to work on it. And another siege workshop comes in here, and we already see the rams coming in here, soon to be siege rams. Bracer, chemistry, and arbalest will all be affordable here for Jack, just trying to save his army until he gets his upgrades. Somewhat surprisingly, he isn't going for chemistry and arbalest just yet. That could actually be a disaster for him. He went for Capdram, but no arbalest is coming for him. Why is no arbalest there for Jack? Did he forget? Maybe he clicked it, but then it didn't work out. But this is actually going to be a pretty awful fight for him. He's still having Ethiopian crossbows with hill advantage and bracer against downhill's Mayan crossbows, so it's not ideal for DauT by any means, but Arbalest is going to be at least a bit late. Now the concern here for Dziam is that he's still not up to Imperial, and DauT is going to be Imp, which means that he's gonna have quite a lot of Arbs very soon as well. So we could see Dziam getting in trouble here quite badly. He needs to get into Imperial. He's idling his TC to get up, and this is a great fight for him. He's taking on those crossbows before they would get the Arbalest upgrade. They already have Bracer, which is a bit of a disadvantage, but Dziam needs to be on Imp. He's booming on 5 TCs, by the way, so I think this is a little bit too greedy from him. But Slam, in the meanwhile, lost quite a lot of villagers over here, and that's already quite a lot of kept grams. I feel like Dziam is going to die slower than Slam here. In fact, Slam looks pretty dead. Imperial Age still not coming in here for Dziam. I'm not sure what he's doing. Doesn't he have the buildings? There's the buildings. And there is Imp now, finally, for him. Going for light calves, somewhat surprisingly. I'm not sure about the motivations for that. But anyways, in the meanwhile, we will have almost fully upgraded Ethiopian Arbs now, just missing the armor, which is coming in right now, and chemistry as well. And with that, these guys are cleaned up. Look at that. Rams are just knocking down every building, and sure, I mean, Dziam isn't really in a great spot, but he's got 121 villagers, which is the best in the game, and it's not like he's losing a lot. He's still just 26% towards Imperial, but in the meanwhile, if you compare him to DauT, or, well, if you compare him to DauT, I think DauT is in a better spot, but if you compare him to Slam, Slam is just kind of going to die, and this is why this is so fun. Obsidian Arrows coming in here for DauT in the meanwhile, though, so hold on to this one. We could still see Dziam dying as well, because that's going to be a lot of Obsidian Arrows Arbs coming in. 50% Imperial for Dziam. His Imp TC is this one, so it's relatively safe. And in the meanwhile, we are gonna have Slam losing another TC, just running for his life right now. Slam down to 84 villagers, 89 population overall. DauT has 54 military though, and Dziam only has 26. And as I said, that's a lot of Arbalests. Now, the tower here and the castle should actually give you some shelter, but I mean, those are Obsidian Arrow Arbs. Look at the tower just go down to the Obsidian Arrows. That's ridiculous. So, I think that this is the moment when Jack needs to divert a few Arbs to trade here. It's fine if they just trade evenly, but they need to make sure that Dziam doesn't die completely. So, Jack needs to divert some Arbs, and indeed he's doing so, hitting DauT's eco here, forcing DauT to react. This is not really going to save Dziam, and right now Dziam is going to lose quite a lot of TCs. Luckily, he still has like 5 or 6 TCs remaining, so he's fine. And in the meanwhile, it appears that Slam is just gonna have a kind of nomadic life form, getting castle dropped on the left side, and getting pushed back here on the right side. He's just running for his life right now. And, well, look at that TC. That's the Imp TC, but Imperial Age has just finished, so Dziam will be safe for a moment, but I think this is the moment where Jack needs to start dropping ranges here and start popping out Arbs himself. They need to stop this army because Dziam is losing a lot, and Dziam is down to 95 villagers, which is even to Slam's will count. So, like, Dziam is dying relatively fast over here. Maybe Slam is dying even slower. In fact, Dziam is down to 82 villagers. They need Arbs here, ASAP. These Arbs, for example, have to move up here because Dziam is dying. Like, legit dying. Slam is also dying, but this is slowly turning into let your teammate die. And in the meanwhile, Jack is going to bash his way into DauT's eco. The concern is that at least Dziam has some sort of army. Like, it's not a lot, but it's honest work, you know. So at least some Hussars in here, or soon to be Hussars. And in the meanwhile, you just have nothing for Slam. But Dziam is down to 62 eco, and he's steadily losing ground. DauT's army here is just absolutely rampaging his lands. And in the meanwhile, DauT lost quite a lot of vills as well, down below 100 himself. Everybody's just losing so much eco in here. Oh man, Slam is dead, but so is Dziam, I believe. Dziam is down to 60 villagers. He still has 40 army. So, in the meanwhile, he's going to kill quite a lot of villagers from DauT. DauT was actually going for this gold mine. And honestly, the best move from Dziam would be right now to just send all the Hussars into DauT's eco. Because Dziam is going to die. He's 54 villagers, but if he sends this army into DauT's base, he can kill like 20 himself, which buys time for Jack to finish this game and snowball it, right? Because there's more and more elite skirms coming in here, and elite skirms as well from DauT. Jack, I mean, he needs some arbalasts over here and stop this blob. Is slinging allowed? Yes, slinging is allowed at every stage of the game. As indeed that is exactly what Dziam is doing, sending in the hussars right into DauT's eco. DauT has 83 military, 82 villagers. And look at this. This is actually very, very good moves from Dziam. But in the meanwhile, I mean, Jack, you need to fight this. You need to fight this because you're losing your base now. That blob of Arblast is just doing so much work for DauT. This is the blob that keeps them in the game, and I wonder why the Polish team isn't reacting to that. Because there is 15 ARBs here. You could just send them in and pretty much lower these numbers just enough to, you know, be able to clean it up. As apparently DauT is switching into elite egos here very soon. Hussars coming in here to DauT's eco. DauT is down to 67 villagers, and finally this blob is going to be stopped. DauT is going to drop quite massively in military, and Dziam still has 40 military, which is pretty outstanding. We'll have an okay-ish trade against the elites egos with the hussars, which is important because this gives some more time for Jack, and here it is. Someone might have thought that this is a one-sided series and DauT and Slam is just going to clap. But it's actually a little bit more interesting than that. Dziam and Jack grab game number 1 over here, and I have to say that this was one of my favorite Arabia games. So much happening. Basically, it was Slam and Dziam just dying completely, and in the end, Dziam was able to kill quite a lot of villagers from DauT, which helped Jack finish the game off. And also, indeed, for White Eagle, winning Arabia is pretty massive, because now all they need to do is just win their home maps, and they are actually in the next round, which would be a massive upset, I would say. Jack, 340 kills, 140 deaths, 43 buildings razed. Slam lost 40 buildings, holy moly. And surprisingly, DauT only destroyed 9 buildings. 9 buildings destroyed, I think that was like 1 tower and 8 town centers or so. Dziam had a great food eco, he was just late into Imperial. Yeah, absolutely. Dziam died, but he did enough damage to DauT to allow Jack to finish the game over there. Wasn't perfect from the Polish team, but it was actually a pretty solid show. And with that, we are jumping into game number 2, I believe. Indeed, they're going to set up the next game, and this means that we're going to DauT and Slam home map. So, let's see. Taking a look at the Civ picks real quick over here, we have Mayans done and Slavs done. On the other side, Ethiopians and Indians are gone. And let's see what the next map is going to be. It is going to be one of the home maps from DauT and Slam, so Keep of Storms or Golden Pit. So we'll see which of them they're going for. Now for Golden Pit, wait a second. I'm just looking at the Civ draft from DauT's team right now, and what I'm noticing is that they, I think, are a bit low on archer civs, right? Because Malians in super late game aren't an archer civ, they don't have bracer. Incas are solid, Koreans are solid, Aztecs are solid. But then you only have like Huns with Cav archers, Lithuanians with Cav archers, Berbers with Camel archers, or Cumans with Kipchaks. But you don't have a lot of traditional archer civs. They might not have enough here, which could complicate things a tiny bit. Alright, DauT and Slam are going for Golden Pit. Cavalry civs OP in Empire Wars? I don't think so. In fact, this game was more or less won by the archers and the crossbows of Jack. So I don't think that archer civs would be a bit underpowered compared to Cav civs. In fact, I think you need a very, very good balanced combination. So yeah, basically, DauT and Slam, Incas, Aztecs are the true, and Koreans are the traditional archers. Save the rest of them, you need to think a tiny bit, and you are going to probably focus more like on Kipchaks, Camel archers, or Cav archers as your archers. So I wonder... what the plan is here. So, let's go back to the lobby. White Eagle's civs are so much better on Golden Pit specifically. I partially agree. Byzantines can be great on Golden Pit. Tatars can be pretty amazing. Goths can be pretty scary. I would say Spanish can be fun as well. Malay is also interesting. So I do believe that they have a lot of options indeed on Golden Pit. I can see quite a lot of their civs working out nicely. And apparently Dziam is going to take a bathroom break, so this is why we haven't started yet. Anyways, let's start looking for the lobby. And, you know, the only scary thing is that if, let's say Dziam and JackK win 3-0, which still seems very unlikely, but in the theoretical scenario of Dziam and JackK winning 3-0, we wouldn't see Enemy Archipelago, which would be a bit sad. I really want to see at least one Enemy Archipelago game in the tournament. So someone would have like 100% win rate on Enemy Archipelago. Right. I think it will be 3-2. Honestly, after seeing this game, I'm also confident that 3-2 could be a realistic outcome for this series. I couldn't actually say who is gonna have 3-2, but it's not impossible that we're going to see the Polish team surprising DauT and Slam here. Because they apparently came in prepared here. Like, their draft is pretty solid, I would say. I wondered what they do in Enemy Archipelago. And yeah, the fact that they could win Arabia is a massive advantage. Like, winning the neutral map is always extremely important in any tournaments, but... Oh, I need to restart my game. Feels bad, man. So, yeah, winning the neutral map is always pretty important. I would say that Golden Pit is a must-win here for DauT and Slam. It's a traditional map. On a traditional map like Golden Pit, they must win. They should be the stronger team as well. So I really hope that we are going to see a competitive series over here. But who knows? JackK and Dziam might actually surprise them over here. Yeah, I do agree, Ali Archer, that JackK and Dziam are looking pretty solid, especially early game. Once late game kicks in and there's a lot of things to manage, then some things slip out of their control a tiny bit. But still, I believe that they have the skill set to win this one. I think they need to play aggressive, so they need to make sure that the games aren't super long, so they either lose fast or win fast. But they can't really go for super late game, especially considering that DauT is a great macro player. So you don't want to have a super late game versus DauT, because DauT is going to be great in that. Yeah, honestly, I'm also super hyped for Enemy Archipelago. Like, we could potentially see something really crazy over there. Like, a lot of people hate Enemy Archipelago, but the exact reason why I actually put it in there is because maybe we are going to see one or two interesting, weird, fun games over there. I always value fun games in tournaments as well. At least give the option for players to go for some crazy strategies. Alright, here it is. Let's go. Oh, perfect. We just came in here for the end of the spec delay. Alright, so welcome everybody. This is going to be game number 2 in a best of 5 in between Dziam and JackK for White Eagle, the Polish team here, with Dziam as Magyars in yellow and JackK as Vietnamese in red on the right side. On the other side, we're gonna have DauT as Incas in green and Slam as Teutons in blue. This is Empire Wars Duo round of 16s. And this is the first home map for DauT and Slam. We are on the Golden Pit. You could already see that JackK signaled the location of DauT and Slam's TC because he's Vietnamese and he can see that. And apparently they're going forward and trying to get a Voyager snipe in here. What is JackK up to? I feel like he could have sniped this Voyager that was actually going out here. And I wonder if either of the players will actually go for any kind of aggression or just fast castle. I feel like this map is vulnerable enough to just, you know, go for FC. DauT with Incas is definitely a surprising civilization selection over here, but if you think about that, they need a good archer save, and Incas is one of the best that they still have. He's going to be walled from the right side very early on, and I'm pretty sure that he's going to be walled here as well. Kind of the same thing is being done here by JackK. Nice little gold mine at the back for him, as he's gonna go double range archers. So that's a big resource commitment. DauT is going to play double range archers as well, as JackK is trying to snipe a Voyager. Slam in the meanwhile will probably be fully walled, but actually going for a stable pretty early on here, so we could see some scouts. Now, I'm not a big fan of scouts here on this map, because I feel like if you are able to wall yourself, then they don't really do a lot of damage. But it appears that since Slam is not fully walled, he has a big opening here on the front. Dziam is also going for the Magyar scouts, and remember, Magyar scouts come with free forging, so they can already do quite a lot of damage over here. And for now, Slam is just forced to defend. The fourth scout is coming in, and as I said, with forging, you could potentially take this fight. And one scout goes down, but in the meanwhile, these scouts get through the spearmen, and this is the moment when they could actually dive in and snipe one Voyager or so. They are extremely dangerous to Wills here. Meanwhile, JackK is still running around trying to find a weak Voyager to snipe, unable to do so. And looking at JackK, he's going to be thinking about clicking up in the long run, but for now, just massing the archers. And for Slam, he's just trying to finish his walls. Oh man, no! Slam, don't wall like that. He could have just walled here and here. It would have been so much more easy. He's also going to give up on that stone. At least, in this one, both players are committing to scouts. And Dziam is even gonna go for bloodlines, so he's actually going for a very, very heavy commitment on the cavalry. Now, you can see that there is a lot of idle time on his TC, so in the previous game he was also pretty low on villagers. Now we see why. Look at that. Look at how long Dziam's TC is idle. Still idle, still idle. This was like 1 minute game time. This is -2 or 3 villagers. I mean, I know his micro rank is tough, but that's an awful lot of idle time on your town center. And it doesn't matter that you kill one villager if your TC is idle for 2 minutes and you lose 3 villagers because of that. If you compare the villager count right now, Slam has a 5 villagers advantage compared to Dziam, and Slam also has a good eco bonus with Teutons. This is a massive mistake from Dziam, and Dziam apparently is going for the double stable scouts build here. Super aggressive, but I don't think this is going to pay off. Slam is just able to defend against this one with Spearman, and he's fully walled. I don't think that this is worth it for Dziam. JackK is going into Castle Age, which is nice, and what Dziam could potentially do if he finds these archers, just pick them off with Bloodline Scouts and +1 armor. Oh, the gate is open! The gate is open for Slam! He opened it with his Spearman, and now Dziam's Spear is keeping it open. Oh boy, that's a disaster for Slam. I just wanted to say that if you are fully walled, those scouts cannot do any damage, but those are +1/+1 scouts with bloodlines, and they're just gonna stream in here. And this would be the perfect time for Dziam to do damage. Now there is going to be archers coming towards his base, and that's something he's going to have to address. He's still quite a lot behind in terms of villager numbers, but now the carnage should actually begin. Nice quick walls over there from Slam, but he still has an exposed wood line. Quick walls again coming in here. And, well, quick walls are nice so far from Slam Boy. And in the meanwhile, Dziam is running for his life because of these archers. And there is not a lot of scouts here to defend. If you have like 3 or 4 scouts, you should be able to clean this one up. But you will need to do that. But in the meanwhile, DauT is also gonna get exposed because he sent all his archers forward. And the first player to Castle Age is going to be JackK. Also, Vietnamese archers will have more HP on them. And again, it is Slam who's running for his life within his own base. Although, in this one, Dziam is gonna go for like a panic tower. Tries to trap those archers! Tries to trap the archers, but that's not gonna happen. A low HP villager will get picked off. Dziam is down to 35 eco, which is far from ideal. Losing the majority of his scouts in this one. I feel like Dziam tried to do the exact same thing that he did before, but in this one it didn't work out because he wasn't fully walled. And the counterattack from DauT just did a lot of damage. Also, Dziam had a lot of idle time. So if you take a look at this one, at this point, Slam has the best eco, but Slam is only halfway up to Castle Age. But remember that with Teutons, you also have a great eco. Coming in here with the second stable, those will be knights from Teutons very soon. In the end, Dziam is going to clean this one up, and this also allows Jack to break into the base of DauT, could potentially deny the university, which would be a massive advantage. No ballistics for Jack either. Jack has +1 armor, so does DauT have that. And apparently we're gonna have a university coming in here for Jack with 1 villager. Scouts will clean up the archers in the end. So in the end, what you see is that Slam is gonna have a way better eco than Dziam, but if you compare the militaries, DauT has a 12 military, Jack has 21, so the archer numbers are in the favor of Jack, and he's going to be on free TCs coming in here with ballistics as well. Ballistics coming for DauT as well. And in the beginning, Magyar Knights will still have the advantage because you have the free iron casting. But on the other hand, as that is going to be Jack finding DauT's crossbows, DauT will have to run again. So in the end, the Teutons will really have their advantage from their extra melee armor. But this map is also very, very open, which could be a bit of a concern for the slow Teuton cavalry. Nice dance over here. Ballistics just comes in here for Jack a little bit later than DauT's ballistics. And the only advantage that Jack has right now is that he has Vietnamese crossbows, and those have 42 HP in comparison to 35. So Vietnamese again is pretty strong in here. DauT has to abandon one of his wood lines, as some more scouts are coming in here but from Dziam, but I don't think they will really inflict any kind of damage. Armor not coming in on either side, and apparently Jack is starting to add skirmishers over here, which is a sign of issues, I would say, because it appears that he's getting beaten back by crossbows, but I'm not sure if that's the case. Like, he could easily push this one if he just keeps producing crossbows and sends them forward. Now, knights are slowly coming in here for Slam, so Jack needs to make sure he doesn't get trapped. Those knights also have +2 armor, so they're actually pretty nice overall. Some villagers go down from DauT. And oh, this could be perfect for Dziam. The perfect use for those leftover scouts. Picks off 2 villagers and delays this town center. Oh man, that was so good. They also pick off like a knight or 2 here. And apparently we're gonna have full walls for Dziam. Dziam is playing with 1 TC going for only double stable knights though, so he doesn't have a great eco behind this one. Knights juking the crossbow fire. So Jack is retreating in this one. Still, the slow Teuton cavalry isn't really going to be great at catching up, but they still do quite a lot of damage, and that blob of crossbows feels like it's going to die, or at least the majority of them will. Let's see if there is reinforcements from Jack. Not really. Jack is down to 11 military, DauT has 14, and the problem is that Dziam is also at 3 military. Dziam has 37 eco, everybody else is almost at 50 villagers. Have DauT and Slam been trolling? Nope. They just got destroyed on Arabia. That's it. Anyways, oh, Jack, look at that. And this is why I said that the fast games really favor Jack and Dziam, because in the long run, the macro for DauT and Slam will be way better. Slam has a great eco. DauT has a great eco. Jack has 60 villagers, which is nice, but he has so much TC at a time that DauT and Slam in the end will actually catch up. And if you take a look at those knights from Dziam, he does not have the +2 armor, which means that those guys are pretty vulnerable to crossbow fire over here. Oh man, Dziam is coming in here with the second TC, but I think he took quite a significant beating, and coming back into this one is going to be horribly hard. Because, as I said, he has taken so much damage, and I'm pretty sure that Slam is playing with at least 2, yeah, it's 3 town centers. Dziam only has 2, still without +2 armor. Alright, so For now, Dziam is sitting at a glorious 7 military, 52 pop. DauT is getting close to 100, so is Slam and JackK. Dziam will need the +2 armor immediately though. Like, he cannot afford to take these fights. If he has +2 armor, I can imagine him taking some good fights here. And he does have the mobility in comparison to the Teuton cavalry, but you need the armor for multiple reasons. You are fighting against crossbows and you're fighting against Teuton cavalry that also has extra melee armor. So it's 5 melee armor against just 3, which is a huge disadvantage right now for Dziam. And did he forget the +2 armor? Because it kind of feels like it. But there is no way he can engage this one without +2 armor. And those crossbows are coming for him. That gold mine is dangerously exposed. He just destroyed the house. And yeah, his other gold mine is safe. But I mean, he could lose precious villagers over here. And he's already quite a bit behind in terms of villager numbers. This is a fight that they will have to take. And without +2 armor, this is just not gonna work out well. JackK, in the meanwhile, castling the outside of the hill. And this is going to be nice at, you know, just defending against the knights and crossbows. But as long as you don't have the armor and you don't have the numbers with Dziam's knights, I don't think they can win this fight. It's 16 crossbows against 21 and 10 poorly upgraded knights against 17 fully upgraded Teuton knights. So this is just not looking great. Apparently, DauT and Slam are also expanding to the middle. And looking at this one, 1 armor for both archer players. Still no extra armor for Dziam. I wonder if he is just, you know, freaking out because he doesn't have the gold income, so he rather prefers numbers over the extra armor, or he just forgot about it. But this isn't looking great. 83 eco is still nice for JackK, and he's gonna start adding Rattan archers. The problem is that if Dziam isn't able to boom back into the game, it doesn't really matter, and he needs good knight numbers, and he needs the extra armor as well, because look at how devastating those few crossbows will be against those knights. Well, right now they're not really fighting, so they aren't devastating, but they should be. So, let's see, Knight Arenos taking us around on those crossbows. That's a nice win. And Dziam, he could actually afford the armor if he idled his stables for just a few moments. I think that will be pretty important. And one thing to point out, at this point, Slam is the only player from his team to have a foothold in the middle. Same for JackK, but JackK has a castle on the outside, which is always nice to have on a map like Golden Pit, because you can trap down buildings in the middle. For now, JackK, he is going to get surrounded over here. That's an awful position to be in. Knights could just get unleashed on top of him, and that would be an absolutely disastrous fight. +2 attack coming in right now for Slam, which means that those knights will be fully upgraded. Finally, +2 armor coming in here for Dziam, and he's dropping piece number 3. He's slowly coming back into the game, to be honest. He's 67 villagers, and it appears that we're gonna have a castle drop, as DauT says. He's dropping castles to win games or lose games. In this one, he wants to win a game, and they have the military numbers to justify this. Better archer numbers for DauT, better cavalry numbers for Slam. But there is Rattan archers as well, which makes things a little bit more complicated, even though those Rattans don't have the +2 armor, so it's not perfect. Still, remember that JackK is going Imperial, and if JackK goes Imperial, he can actually start making traps and trap this one down. And that could be pretty significant happening in this game. DauT is not even close to Imp, and being the fastest to Imperial is extremely important on a map like Golden Pit and Gold Rush. It is apparently Slam who is going into Imp though, which means that that's going to be a lot of Teuton Cavaliers, and it appears that Dziam not taking this fight for the time being. They're just dancing around each other. Slam trying to get some Vululus in here, and Dziam is losing way too much cavalry. He's at 78 villagers, but he's nowhere close to clicking Imp. He doesn't have the numbers. He's trying to take a hill to take this fight, but in the meanwhile, he's gonna get his TC denied. And it appears that JackK is gonna drop a castle to try and control that gold mine. I think that DauT and Slam can easily win this game if Slam gets a castle up, because then he can make his own traps. But in the meanwhile, oh boy, there is a massive overchop, and now the knights are just gonna run inside the base of Dziam. And that's a lot of knights from Slam over there. And Slam is going to take revenge for the previous game where he was the one getting destroyed. And just when Dziam caught up with Slam in terms of villager numbers. But in the meanwhile, look at that! There is also knights inside Slam's eco, and he's losing quite a lot of villagers. Left-hand side, a pretty bad fight for Dziam over there. His cavalry is getting picked off. And right now, Dziam has essentially no eco. Rattans are slowly coming in, but DauT has double the military compared to JackK. in this one. Slam lost a few villagers, but he's still at 86, and now he has his eco back on track. Whereas for Dziam, he still has 40 idlers out of the 80 villagers he possesses. He just has no eco, and he's not even close to Imp. DauT also clicking up into Imperial here, which means that we're gonna have 2 Imperial Age players, but DauT also losing quite a lot of crossbows here. That was pretty bad for him overall. +2 armor is in there for Jack, no +2 for DauT. So this army could actually get destroyed here from DauT, which would be an absolutely horrible happening again. No Arbalest coming for Jack, which means that he probably wants to continue with Rattans, but he needs the traps first, trap down DauT's castle in the middle. And that's quite a lot of Rattan archers. They could take a somewhat reasonable engagement, but they are still massively outnumbered by the Knights. Knights already coming out here, but this is by far not enough from Dziam and JackK. They're just horribly outnumbered in military, and I don't see them coming back, because what's gonna happen is that at some point Slam is going to dive in with the Cavaliers, and it appears that they know that Dziam is so much behind, so DauT can switch into Eagles and just slowly grind down JackK. Now, as I said, DauT is going to lose the castle in the middle, but it's not like JackK and Dziam has an army to push these villagers off, so sure. And as I said, at some point Slam is going to dive in, take down the TCs, and Dziam is going to die. Dziam's eco numbers are okay, but he doesn't have military, and basically the same can be said about JackK. JackK is trying to go for Rattan archers, but look at that, he has 6 Rattans queued up on each of those castles. He should have gone for Arbs, I believe. Because, yeah, Rattans are nice, but you don't have the production speed to get your army up. JackK is 145 pop. He could be at, like, what, 30 Arbs right now. And 30 Arbs would absolutely destroy this army. I think that going for Rattans here is a mistake. Look at that, 6 archers queued up in each of the castles, but no Arbs. If these resources would be invested into Arbs, JackK would at least have an army that could potentially take a fight here. In the meanwhile, Dziam is losing quite a lot of ground. Few Rattans inside DauT's eco, but it's not really a big deal. And, well, unless a miracle happens, I don't see the Polish team winning this one. Now, they could still try to push DauT and Slam off from gold, but I mean, there is so much ground here and so much space and so much army for Slam that Slam can easily reconquer that. Anyways, it appears that we're gonna have more and more Halberdiers coming in here from JackK, as JackK did a nice quick wall to prevent those Cavaliers from bashing their way in. And if DauT is going for Eagles, JackK could go for like Hob and Champion, for example, and potentially push them off from gold. They just need to push a tiny bit, and suddenly things could get a lot more problematic for DauT and Slam. Now, Dziam is still not a factor in this game, so the best thing he can do is like sling in this scenario into like Halberdier, Champion, and just pray that you can somehow push off DauT and Slam from the gold. That's basically the only chance. But that's still a lot of villagers on gold, so like DauT is gonna have like 1,000 gold in stockpile, and in the meanwhile, pieces are getting knocked down slowly by those Cavaliers. 44 idols for JackK, not even Halberdier in here just yet. Traps are being set up, and that's a lot of Rattans, and in the meanwhile we're gonna have Fabric Shields coming in here for DauT for the extra Pierce armor on the Eagles. JackK is not even close to being prepared to deal with the Eagles right now. I think DauT is just hiding those Eagles until he has good numbers, but if there was any kind of cavalry from Dziam, basically any kind of cav, then this could be a fight that they can take, but I feel like this is going to be game over here. The Eagles will be unleashed on top of those Rattans, alongside the Cavaliers. They're gonna get a proper surround, and this should be the game indeed. I feel like this slipped where DauT's archer just destroyed Dziam. Dziam lost way too much, and his investment into pushing Slam just didn't pay off by any means. He had an awful lot of TCL time. In fact, Dziam had an absolutely awful feudal age. So his micro at Slam's base was perfect, but not at this price. The price was way too high, he had a lot of idle time, he wasn't fully walled, got killed by DauT essentially. And this means that we are gonna have an even series over here in between the two teams, with a chance to go for enemy archipelago indeed. If you just take a look at the KD, Dziam was pretty even in terms of KD, but if you take a look at the timeline, he's just not really a factor in the majority of the game. And the macro for Slam and DauT were pretty nice in this one. JackK is playing extremely solid though. I have to say, Dziam was great in game number 1, but game number 2 was a little bit too sloppy from him in Feudal Age. Alright, so we're going back into the series in a few moments, and indeed, Enemy Archipelago is going to be the map. Prepare yourselves, because you might see something that you haven't seen for a long time. How often do you see Enemy Archipelago in a tournament? I don't know, but I feel like this could be an extremely fun game. Yeah, honestly, I have also never seen an Enemy Archipelago tournament game. Is Secret Clan still live? Yes, it is, but they will have a new team. I think they said that they are going to have a new team by next week. So the clan itself is alive, but they are not called Secret anymore. So, Enemy Archipelago. It is basically, in case you have never seen Enemy Archipelago, it is 2 separate islands, and you spawn with one of your opponents on the island, which means that basically it's 2 separate 1v1s on 2 separate islands, and there is a bunch of water. So there is so many craziness that this can involve, but the 2 separate 1v1s could actually help out, I think, DauT and Slam a tiny bit here, because in 1v1, I think they're a little bit better than the opponents. Why not enemy double Sakura? What? How is this Jack being MVP in both games while DauT and Slam are also playing? Looks too good for his elo. Honestly, Jack is a pretty solid player. He also plays a lot of deathmatch, so he's a pretty good macro as well. Not sure, like, his rating right now is, I think, 2061. People around him are... where is he at? For example, he is actually right next to Kaswa in ratings, for example. And yeah, for example, Kaswa is around. Vodka is pretty close in rating. Twig is pretty close in rating. So there is quite a lot of players who are pretty close in rating, I would say. So, Enemy Archipelago, here we come. Let's see if they launched it. And looking at the potential civilizations for this one, this is where absolutely chaotic things could happen. So any civ is possible, basically. Where are we at? We had Teutons and we had Incas. On the other side, we had Vietnamese and we had Magyars. Which means that we could have something like Spanish and towers, and potentially Byzantines and towers, honestly. Yeah, I also believe that the Poles have something prepared. I could see a double thrush with Spanish and Byzantines. Or Celts could be legitimate for multiple reasons. Malay could be fun if you can actually defend and have a good fishbone behind that one. Other side, Persians could be great for DauT's team. Koreans is also solid, I would say, and maybe Berbers. Those are my predictions. You need something that has good water, or more or less good water, because there is a chance that this might turn into some water fights. And why not Persians? Persians are also fun, and it's very, very legitimate. I said Persians, Koreans, Berbers, I think, are the realistic possibilities here. But Persians don't have Bracer. Japanese, Malay... I don't think so. I think at least one of them will be reserved for Kawasan. I'm thinking more like Spanish, Byzantines, maybe Goths. Yeah, even Huns are legit. Absolutely agreed. There is a lot of reasonable civs. It really just depends on the strategy choice, I believe. Like, there's so many things that you can do in Enemy Archipelago. You can just play it like 1v1 Arabia, basically. Or more like 1v1 Socotra, to be honest. And I really wonder what the idea is for the polls, because they specifically picked this as their home map. And I am pretty sure they have something planned. So, let's see. Apparently, we're still waiting for them to get in here, and it is DauT who's restarting his game. Oh, he's testing something out, apparently. So, well, DauT is going to have to check out how the map looks like. But the resource spawn is pretty standard. Oh man. Italian Spanish? I don't think Italian was drafted. So that's not really going to be a thing. But anyways, we are soon gonna have Enemy Archipelago. DauT is just, you know, making sure he knows everything about the map here, apparently. Oh man, yeah, no Italians in this draft. So, yeah, Enemy Archipelago, prepare yourselves. This could be super crazy. Honestly, the best thing that I could imagine is Enemy Archipelago with Rubenstock and Yupe. Just imagine that. Always double douche. He stopped the AI stuff. Yeah, I actually checked out DauT's stream. Just wanted to check something, you know. We forgive that to DauT. Because he's back amongst us. So, the first time Empire Wars Duo Enemy Archipelago will be played in the main event of this tournament, I don't know what to expect. I honestly don't know. But this could be something special, I would say. This map is crazy, and that's one of the reasons why it's in the map pool. Because it gives a chance for weaker teams to, you know, show some weird moves, show some unique moves, and I'm somewhat surprised that this wasn't banned out by DauT and Slam. In fact, DauT and Slam banned River Belt, which is understandable because that's a super aggressive map and they probably want to play the long game in the long run. But this leaves Enemy Archipelago available for the polls to pick. I'm not sure how many times we are still going to see Enemy Archipelago, but I think in the semifinals and the finals, there is a high chance that it's going to be picked because there is 7 maps to choose from for 6 home maps, which means that only 1 map is not going to be picked. There's a chance that specific map is going to be Enemy Archipelago, though. I need to restart my game again. Sometimes that spectate button doesn't work, but you're probably familiar with that if you have ever tried spectating games. But no worries, there is a 2-minute spec delay, so you are not going to miss anything in this one. By the way, just as a heads up, tomorrow, 12 GMT, so pretty early, that's 2 PM in Europe, we are gonna have the Vietnamese team Baekti, Say My Name, and Kaposh versus, well, Kaposh is not Vietnamese, but he joined that team himself, versus Arwar, Ganji, Kamigawa, and Vodka. And after that, there is going to be Yoenlix versus Pella and FedEx, 2 pretty decent Argentinian players. We'll see what they can do against the Chinese duo. And also, another heads up is that I also uploaded all the existing series that I casted here on this channel to YouTube. So if you use the !YouTube command, you are going to be brought into my YouTube, where you can check those out, VODs out as well. So in case you missed it, the games can be watched either here on Twitch as a VOD, or you can also watch it on YouTube as well. I also trimmed it down so the beginning boring part isn't there, just when we actually start the games. So like I think it's like draft and then games or something like that. But basically I made sure that there is not a lot of spare time in that, and you get jump right into the action basically. All right, so with that, let's look for the game. And the moment everybody has been waiting for, enemy archipelago in Empire Wars Duo. I just wonder how this is going to play out, because I have no clue. But I guess we'll soon see. So welcome everybody, this is going to be game number 1, actually game number 3, I'm just dumb. In Empire Wars Duo, I need to go for the overlay. So, Empire Wars Duo, round of 16s between Dziam and JackK for White Eagle and DauT and Slam. This is Dziam and JackK's home map, enemy archipelago, and as you see, it's 2 separate islands, but you spawn on a same island with one of the enemies. So JackK is going to be playing Malay in red versus DauT as Koreans in green, and DauT is gonna go for towers immediately, supported by what appears to be Spearman. In the meanwhile, for JackK, what appears to be... What is JackK's plan? JackK isn't making any military buildings right now, and that could be an absolute disaster, because Voyager's already coming forward, something he noticed. In the meanwhile, Slam is losing quite a lot of HP on his scout over here. Dziam is playing Celts in yellow, and Slam is going to play Lithuanians in blue. So Slam is going to open with scouts, something that is going to be seen by Dziam, and yeah, I also can't justify Lithuanians over here, to be honest, but you start with a lot of extra food, which could be pretty useful when you want to open scouts. For Dziam, he is gonna go archers here. And what's the plan for JackK? JackK is just kind of defending right now, and he's gonna go for fire galleys. Fire galleys when you're not even getting any water fights. This is a weird decision, and there is actually a hole. So the Voyage... Is there a hole? No, there isn't. Okay. This is a little bit misleading, but there is actually no hole. Finally, an archer range coming in here for JackK. And remember that if JackK can start fish booming and meanwhile defend with towers, he's gonna have a way better eco than DauT. And it appears that we're gonna have Scout and Skirm here for Slam. Remember, this is basically like 2 separate 1v1s. Volov here is going to happen, but not over here on the left side. And there is no Spearman to defend these Voyagers. Dziam could actually lose a will here. And indeed, Slam gets a nice surround. And is going to probably pick off one Voyager, loses one Scout, but still, there is a need for a Spearman over here. Another Voyager could go down from Dziam. Indeed, that is looking worse and worse for the White Eagle. Meanwhile, DauT, he's trying to bash his way through this one. If JackK can drop a defensive tower here, he should be more than fine, and he can counterattack DauT with a few archers. DauT is also going to drop a range, potentially for skirmishers. In the meanwhile, another fire galley comes in here for JackK, because apparently DauT is also on water, so is Dziam. Everybody will be fully walled from the White Eagle team, and no one is walled fully from DauT's team right now. Another tower comes in here, counter tower coming in here from JackK. He has more Voyagers to pull for this one, and I think he wants to trap this army in here. Is he able to? Nope, it's not happening. More spears coming in here to take this fight. Tower is going to be up for both sides, but I think this is a fight where JackK could potentially trap DauT. He's just trying to do as much as possible to trap DauT here, and still not able to. But he's very, very close. DauT is going to be able to escape. This could have been a great chance for JackK to trap those Voyagers in there. Meanwhile, some archers coming in here, not really doing a lot of damage. And for Dziam, again, that's a lot of TC idle time. He's microing his stuff, but in the meanwhile, there is an awful lot of TC idle time. That's probably the biggest issue that he's facing right now. Everybody's at 39 Voyagers though, so everything can still be pretty happy over here in this one. And the transport ship is coming in here from JackK. Meanwhile on the water, apparently JackK is just looping around, and he will probably try to transport the archers into DauT's base. At the same time, we have some spears from Dziam, but they will just get picked off. They poke down one scout, so that's actually some value from them. And it appears that Dziam will actually proceed towards going into Castle Age. He will need to because he's facing a lot of skirms, and maybe that's the reason why you go Lithuanians, because you're gonna have pretty decent skirms here. Anyways, the transport ship is almost ready, and we could see the archers coming in here and dropping off within DauT's base. Meanwhile, DauT's Thrush isn't really achieving a lot. Another tower is going to come in, and once DauT is up in Castle Age, this is going to be extremely problematic to deal with, because dealing with those Korean towers usually go, or like, dealing with a tower aggression usually goes by, like, having... Oh, that's an awful fight for Dziam again. I'm not sure why he's taking that, but usually you deal... Oh no! The transport! The transport! No! That's going to be going down to the bottom of the ocean. So usually the way you deal, as Jordan is coming in here with the raid, thanks Jordan for the raid, you are looking at enemy archipelago at an even score between Dziam and JackK versus DauT and Slam. So basically the way you deal with the tower's aggression is by mangonels in Castle Age as a defense, and it appears that Dziam is actually willing to take this fight against the skirms with the archers and spears. Questionable decision, because Slam has some reinforcements of skirms, so I don't know if this is actually worth it or not. But anyways, the problem here is that if DauT gets up to Castle Age, he's gonna have quite a lot of guard towers over here, and dealing with those with mangonels is just not really a possibility. For now, JackK is just trying to stop his opponent from getting another tower up on the gold mine, and in the meanwhile, Dziam has a pretty decent fish boom, and we also have a nice fish boom over here for Slamboy. Alright, so in the meanwhile, JackK trying to get some demos out, but no fish for him. Castle Age for Slam first, followed by DauT. This isn't looking great for White Eagle, despite the fact that this is their home map. So they're not even close to clicking up into Castle Age here, or at least not JackK. Luckily, he's Malay, so he can catch up relatively fast with the Malay faster uptime. But still, his situation is far from perfect over here, and I wonder what Dziam's plan is. Like, I could see crossbows and then Siege Workshop mangonels, kind of like a Hoang Rush over here, because it appears that Slam is going pure skirms. Or, what could be a genius move is Dziam transporting a few archers within DauT's base. This is why this map is so crazy. You could just transport your archers to the opponent, and indeed, that's the plan. Dziam figures, okay, Slam is just playing with skirms and defending. I'm just gonna be fully walled and send my archers inside DauT's base and help my teammate. And that could work so well, because DauT's only military is towers right now. We also have Castle Age coming in here for JackK, and since he's Malay, he's going to catch up. And that transport could turn things around. Elite Skirm and Pikemen coming in here for Slam. But again, you can defend against that one quite nicely with a well-placed Siege Workshop for Dziam. He is still not up in Castle Age, so this could be a little bit of a concern for him, though. So, Transporterino is already available somewhere, and they're trying to jump in here. Apparently, he's not gonna go for DauT's base, he's gonna try to jump into Slam's base, but they're just leaving them over there on the shoreline. Oh man, they have... Dziam, what are you doing? Jump inside, I mean... Oh boy, he lost half of the archers over there. That was absolute disaster. And now, I mean, Slam even knows that there's a transport full of archers over there. Anyways, Slam slowly adding knights over here, and Dziam still has quite a lot of crossbows to play around with. Guard towers are up, and honestly, the best defense against that one for JackK would be his own guard towers. So, he kind of needs something. Battering rams here isn't really going to work because DauT is going to have mangonels. And yeah, JackK could be in trouble here very soon. Apparently he's gonna go for elephants. And now the crossbows pop out. It might be a one-way ticket over here because the demo is trying to chase them down. It's going to settle with damaging the transport. I feel like it would have been better if they transport those crossbows into DauT's base. Because DauT has nothing to defend. Absolutely nothing to defend with. And these crossbows aren't really doing enough damage on Slam, I believe. It's just like few villagers picked off at maximum. Anyways, stone walls up here and the castle drop on top of this hill from DauT. We could see war wagons very soon. And honestly, it's not looking great for Poles. They are just defending, but not really being able to push. 2 TCs right now, few crossbows here, as I said. and they will pick off a few villagers, but... Oh, in the meanwhile, look at this army! Where did this come from and where are the skirmishers at? They're just breaking into Slam's base. That's a lot of skirms though, and this is why I feel like I'm somewhat surprised that Dziam doesn't have a mangonels, because if he had crossbows and mangonels, this would be pretty nice for him. Although, mangoing against those faster Lithuanian skirmishes is a little bit more tricky, but you don't want to take this fight if you're Dziam. Your best bet is potentially to try and escape with that transport ship. Only 5 spots inside, by the way, because there is no careening. Meanwhile, DauT is coming in here with turtle ships to claim control over the water, and Jack pushed back, not really having a safe gold income anymore thanks to those towers and castles in his face. And in the meanwhile, the last hope of escape is actually fading away here for Dziam. There is nowhere to run. The island is going to end here, and his transport is gone, or at least it's going to be gone. He's trying to snipe down those fish, but that's not really going to happen. Oh boy, it's not looking great for opposers. Somewhat surprisingly, they actually still have the score lead, which is very surprising. The eco for Dziam is pretty nice, so is it for Jack, but I mean, their military is not going to be great. This scout is doing a lot of work though with forging. I mean, still, they're going to get cleaned up, but at least he picks off a few skirmishers. I feel like it would have been better to just group the archers here, wait for the mangonels, and then start pushing this gold mine with the mangonels and the crossbows. So TC coming in here for Slam, and it appears that we're gonna have a pike and siege push here for Dziam now. And in the meanwhile, DauT is breaking in here, sitting right next to the tower with that mangonel. Oh man. On the waters, we have majestic turtle ships looping around. And that's a lot of mangonels. The problem is that if Slam has like 3 or 4 knights, he can actually clean this one up. But as I said, that's a lot of mangoes. And never underestimate the power of the Hoang Rush. Mango comes in here, nice attack round. But Jack has nothing to defend with, absolutely nothing. He's going to imp, but imp into what? Is he trying to like get a castle up? That would be the best thing to do for Jack, honestly. Get a castle up somewhere where he is guaranteed to get it up. Oh boy, is that going to be a DauT castle? There is 3 war wagons. That's not a lot of firepower, but the reinforcements are coming in here. And DauT might actually be able to force a DauT castle here, because I don't think this is going up. Or at least not with these few villagers. I feel like it would have been better to just drop it over here, for example. Because now you can't even send more villagers. DauT is just going to camp it down. And I know the plan was to go into Imperial and then trap these towers and castles down. But that is a castle denied at 60%. Not a good decision, I believe, from Jack. He should have gone for a little bit more safe castle. Anyways, the beautiful thing about Enemy Archipelago is that even if you die, your teammate might still be able to even the game, because at this point, Dziam still has the villager lead, better than DauT and Slam, and there is also quite a lot of mangoes coming in here, and oh boy, that's a lot of skirmishers. They're fast because they're Lithuanians, but those mangoes also fire fast, and it appears that Slam will have to run for his life, coming in with his own mangonel, but it is the Celt's power. Right now, Jack is down to 42, and he's just trying to run around and get that castle up. Battering ram is coming in here. Honestly, DauT abandoning that castle might have been an issue, because now the castle goes up. There is 2 monks over here, and we are actually seeing the monks trying to convert the turtle ships, unable to do so in this moment. But the castle is gonna go up, villagers bashing down the mangonel. I'm not sure how long this castle is gonna stay up though, because there's actually a ram knocking on the door. Meanwhile, on the other island, indeed, Team DauT has about 20 more villagers, but in the meanwhile, Slam's eco is gonna get pushed pretty hard over here, as that was a great fight for Slam, by the way. Kills quite a lot of crossbows and counterattacks with the skirms. Let's see the mango dance over here for Dziam. The castle is up, and it's standing for the time being. DauT is not even close to Imperial. Dziam is also going into Imp here, but Imp into what again with Celts? Like, he could drop a castle. It appears that Dziam is gonna drop a castle. Look at that! Look at those castles. We are gonna have a big fight over here, I feel like. Castle versus castle. Mangonels, where are the mangonels at? There is no more mangonels from Dziam here. He's fighting over here. And I think that Slam has more villagers, and he also has the skirmishers. 14 wheels. I mean, Dziam has to pull more. He has 17. Oh boy. This is going to be a patterned war, by the way. Meanwhile, Slam is trying to keep his TC up over here. Traps are out, but they're firing up hills. And Well, the only problem here for DauT is that he's still not him, so he's not able to counter-trap this one. As the wood runs out for Slam here. Let's see if the Mango is going to land a shot. Doesn't appear so. Dziam is going to react, runs away, and nice splits over there from Slam. That Mango is probably gonna go down. Void Raiders in the party, but Slam is making petards. That's a mistake from Dziam. He should be making petards because he's going to lose this castle. Does the calendar show in your time zone or I don't know. Tomorrow the first series starts at 12 GMT, so that's what you should be thinking about. Anyways, now it's going to be War Wagons, Battering Rams, the traps are gonna go down, and in the meanwhile, as I said, since Dziam is making the massive mistake of making Void Raiders instead of petards, this is a huge mistake from him. I mean, he could be thinking that he's just gonna go Void Raiders, raid Slam's Eco, and make another castle if he loses this one, but he's guaranteed to lose this. He's up to Imperial, comes in with some Battering Rams though, but it's already 4 petards for Slam, coming in with the 5th one. Down to 30 villagers is JackK. He converted a few War Wagons, which is nice, but he has nothing. He is making a transport ship. I think this is the moment when we are going to see JackK trying to escape that island. He needs 8, I think something like that. That ram is just not gonna work for Dziam. There's Mangonels behind. Void Raiders popping out to deal with the rams over here. Petards, just enough. There's a trap out though, which could actually make things a little bit more interesting. Another castle comes in here. Few villagers will get killed by that knight that was camping there for the majority of the game. DauT is also going into Imperial, and that's the transport. 5 spots only for JackK. Who is going to fit in, ladies and gentlemen? 19 villagers remaining. They're making a desperate rush, and it's full. They will venture on a journey to the land of Dziam, and this castle goes down. Honestly, if the traps arrive here, Slam could potentially be losing his castle, and this isn't going to be great. He doesn't really have anything to deal with Void Raiders. Another transport comes in here for JackK, but I don't think he can save more villagers. There is no way. Everything that's left of his civilization is in this transport. 5 villagers remaining. But as I said, the fun thing about this map is his castle is actually alive. There wasn't enough petards from Slam to take that castle down, and that's a huge problem. Because right now there's 2 castles from Dziam. Dziam should send a bunch of villagers and repair this one. He just needed 1 more petard. And now there's Void Raiders raiding the gold eco. JackK is at a glorious 6 population right now. But in the meanwhile, Slam is also in the danger of getting just, you know, utterly slaughtered over here. He's going into Imperial right now, but oh, JackK is gonna call it. Wait a second. Are we gonna see Dziam playing further and JackK just gonna say, okay, I'm gonna take a break here? Why? You could try to reboom. Oh, the transport! DauT also made a transport and he's sending War Wagons now. I mean, I still believe that DauT and Slam have this, but I'm somewhat surprised that Dziam is continuing to play this. But JackK is not. War Wagons are in here and JackK could legit get defeated. He could actually get defeated. This is his entire population over there. But as weird as it sounds, I mean, Slam is not gonna have anywhere to run very, very soon either, as we're gonna have more and more War Wagons being transported by DauT. And ladies and gentlemen, the first player ever to get defeated in Empire Wars Duo is going to be JackK, and it appears that this also means that Dziam loses. Now, I didn't know that. Or did Dziam just call it? Or did they automatically lose? Because it was suspiciously at the same time where this villager was killed. He has 1 will. No, he has 0 population. Why you see 1 villager here is because this is the lady dying. There is no more villagers. See? The only idle will I can click on is this dead lady. The reason why you see 1 will over here is because this lady isn't considered dead just yet. Dziam had to resign. Okay. Well, at least we had some fun games, I have to say. Not sure what JackK's plan was. No, there is nothing left for JackK. JackK has 1 dock, very low HP, 1 monastery. I guess that counts as production building, so he might not be defeated completely. I would have loved to see Dziam steamrolling Slam here and then having basically a 1v1 in these islands. How did Slam and DauT lose a game? Well, they got kind of clapped on Arabia, honestly. Like, Slam was facing a lot of pressure, and Dziam and JackK were playing extremely good. I feel like they are also playing pretty good in these games, but here in this game, it was pretty simple recipe. JackK was the one getting destroyed. I feel like going into Imp here, I think the problem was that he made the castle to a very, very aggressive spot. If that castle goes up at a smaller cost, he can potentially protect his base. I think this game slipped on JackK getting defeated by DauT, but if you think about the fact that Dziam basically beat Slam in 1v1 on their island, is actually pretty nice. Which means that indeed we are going for the final home map of the pose, which is Kawasan, a lot more traditional than you know, Enemy Archipelago was. Boy, oh boy. Alright. So... Kawasan. Can they choose order? Yes, they can. They can choose the order in which they play their home maps, but they can only play their own home map, so they can't pick the enemy home map. In some tournaments, they can actually pick the enemy's home map as well for the next game, but in this one, that's not a possibility. Anyways, Lithuanians are gone and Koreans are gone. Other side for Dziam, we do have Celts gone and Malay gone. What is left for Kawasan? Alright, thank you for hosting the tournament, and thank you for including Cape of Summers and Archipelago. No worries, I'm always, you know, a fan of interesting and fun maps. Alright, so what do we got? We got Cumans, Malians, Huns, Aztecs, Berbers remaining. Something is wrong because that's just 5 civs. Oh, Persians as well. Probably Persians and Aztecs is the pick here on Kawasan. Maybe Huns and Aztecs, but I feel like Aztecs is a must pick here. It's great on Kawasan overall, and it's overall great civilization for any Empire War setup. Great deco, and it's great for Kawasan as well because the relics all in the middle. Persians, generally a great civilization for hybrid maps. Huns could also be a legit choice. I would say Malians is one of the best civs for Kawasan, so I can imagine Malians being the selection over here and then leaving Persians to Cape of Storms if we go to game number 5. On Dziam's side, you can vote off Kawasan, so I could imagine Gods being played. It would be somewhat weird, but they have to win this game, and I can see that they might actually take a gamble on Gods in this one. Honestly, I was actually considering Chaos Pit 2v2 Empire Wars for the tournament, but then I decided that I don't want to do that. I also remember that when Nili was actually looking at my discussion and, like, you know, the tournament announcement, and I said that, oh, I was considering Chaos Pit 2v2, he was like, no! So, yeah. Anyways, I have to restart my game again. Come on. So I feel like Malians could also be a legit civ. Because what you gain with Malians is that you save a lot of wood, the military buildings at the beginning, which allows you to go for an earlier dock. Which is pretty nice on Kawasan, I would say. Like, talking to Nikov, for example, I would say that Nikov said that Malians is one of the best civs for Kawasan. At least in 1v1 Empire Wars. Now, other side, as I said, Byzantines can be fun to win water. Or Japanese. You won't pick Byzantines and Japanese together because you need something that has at least some sort of cavalry. But I could imagine Gods being picked here. I could imagine Mongols being picked here because, you know, it's generally a great civilization. with their army, but it's probably better for Cape of Storms. You heard Neil is under quarantine? That is correct. That is correct. Alright, so... let's go. I'm just waiting for my game to launch. But there is spectator delay anyways, so we're not actually missing any part, you know. So, we'll see. I think Aztecs and probably either Persians, Malians, or Huns. Although Cumans is a possibility as well, I guess. In the end, DauT's team has a pretty decent lineup of cavalry civilizations available. Archer Civ is a bit more concerned if this goes into 5 games, but I don't think it will. Or at least, as things stand right now, seeing the final 3 games, or final 2 games, it doesn't seem like this would go into 5 games, but maybe the Polish team surprises us again. So, let's see what we got in game number 4 over here. So welcome everybody, this is game number 4 in a best of 5 in between DauT and Slam versus Dziam and JackK. This is Empire vs. Duo round of 16s. And we are gonna have Dziam as Spanish in yellow on the right side and JackK in Japanese as red. So we are not going to see Goths in this one, we're not going to see Byzantines. Japanese, very solid archer civ for Kawasan, as we have an attempted villager pick over here from Slam. He will probably try to go back and finish that villager off. And in the meanwhile, there it is, one villager killed by JackK over there. That's a beautiful start for him, as he's gonna go double range archers. On the other side, we're gonna have DauT as Aztecs in green and also Slam as Persians in blue, 2 very standard civilizations, and it appears that JackK is going to contest the pawn that Slam is also planning to do. So, in this Kawasan generation, as we see DauT having a chance to snap down one villager from Dziam, which is a great start from DauT here, you always have a safer pawn and a lot more contested pawn, as we have 2 archers, 2 spears coming forward, pretty traditional opening, but there is no spears to defend back at home for JackK, and that could be an absolute disaster, I would say. As Slam is coming in here, and this is looking bad for JackK. This is looking very, very bad. Not leaving a single spearman back at home isn't really helping, to be honest. And right now, he's far from counterattacking, although he could actually hit a few villagers on the gold mine, but I don't think he can deal a lot of damage. But DauT's start here was great, picking off a villager. Now, being honest though, there is no fish from DauT, which means that his eco is still going to be basically just comparable to Dziam's eco. It appears that we're going to have a quick wall coming in here from JackK, but one of the villagers is left out of the party for now. And skirmishers coming in here for Slam as well. This is just not looking great for Dziam and JackK, and so many times we have seen that Kawasan sometimes slips out of the control of the weaker team a lot faster than other maps do. Very aggressive, but this is an awful fight for JackK to take. He's actually trying to win water, but he's not gaining anything from this one. He's fighting as the Persian dock. Again, uphills versus skirmishers is far from ideal. He doesn't even have fletching, whereas those skirms do have fletching, so JackK, 3 kills, 10 deaths. It's not looking great, and there is also archers coming in here for DauT. Meanwhile, bloodlines on the way for Dziam scouts, and Dziam has 7 military somewhere. Now, if they can actually get those skirms, this would still be a good fight. But yeah, those archers right now are in trouble, and JackK is losing quite a lot of vills. It appears that DauT and Slam are now focusing on him. One more villager goes down. The skirms will die, and now the bloodline scouts will eventually be able to clean this one up. But JackK has taken a quite significant beating. He's down to 34 eco. I mean, that's by far the worst in the game. And he could lose even more in this one. Needs to pick off the spearmen to allow the scouts to clean this one up. Scouts finally coming in here, but this might be Dziam's game to carry here. So that is going to be a cleanup in the end. This is the moment when you need to do some damage to either Slam or either DauT. Demo comes in here the perfect time as well from Slam. And I feel like one of the major differences between this series or this game and the first game is that in the first game, Slam was a bit rusty, I believe, and wasn't playing 100%. He probably wasn't really warmed up. But in this one, Slam is playing extremely well with the skirmisher transition. And now this is a pretty bad fight over here for JackK, trying to save some of his fire galleys in the process, but unless he lands a good demo hit over here, he's not going to win this one. The only hope that he has is that Dziam is going to be able to break into Slam's base and disrupt the wood or gold income. Nice quick walls over there, but for whatever reason, these ladies are still not doing the walls, and those gates are also very vulnerable since D nerfed the gates. And this means that there is actually scouts inside Slam's eco, and also Dziam is picking off archers from DauT. DauT going into Castle Age, but DauT has only 5 military, which is even going to drop. So yeah, Castle Age, but no military. And in the meanwhile, as I said, being able to pressure Slam here a tiny bit means that we could potentially see Jack being able to counterattack. Jack still the weakest eco, but he's slowly getting back there. Archers coming in here, they could hit the gold mine, honestly. They see the gold mine, they just walk in here and pick off villagers from Slam, and that also disrupts the fire galley production from Slam, because Slam is not gonna have any gold to work with. Demo is beautiful from Slam, an absolutely perfect demo over there. And the Castle Age is also coming in here for Dziam, slowly walling himself up. Jack isn't really walled, and that is a bit of a concern, but in the meanwhile, Slam's base is quite exposed now, and there is 0 military. There is 6 military for DauT, all of them are at home, just a few skirms. Slam has 8 military, so it's not like he has a lot to defend with, and that again could be a lot of idle time, and this could allow Jack to potentially reclaim control over the waters, and that's exactly what they want to have right now. Anyways, it appears that DauT is gonna move up, but Dziam, if he goes double stable knights here, this could be pretty strong. In fact, he's gonna go triple stable knights, so pretty much a Castle Age all in here. I wonder if DauT is gonna drop a monastery in the middle early on, and it appears a counterattack will be mounted towards Jack's base. Credit to Slam for not losing a lot of villagers so far, despite facing heavy pressure in this one, as Jack is also getting close to quick up to Castle Age as the final player. In this one, Slam's still running for his life right now. Remember that once he gets to knights, he can clean up archers pretty easily because he has the Persian knights. And this is the moment when you should be hitting the gold mine. Indeed, that's the perfect spot to strike. Also, skirmishers get surrounded over here. And finally, Dziam and Jack are able to deal some damage to Slam's eco. Slam was doing an excellent job defending his villagers up until this point, but now that's a lot of pressure. Those scouts do have +1/+1 and bloodlines, and Slam is losing quite a lot of villagers, down to 43 himself. And this will be a moment where Dziam can actually reclaim control over the waters. But on the other hand, there is a few crossbows and skirms coming into his eco, so that's not great by any means. A lot of idle time here on Slam's eco, but Dziam will also have to run for his, or Jack has to run for his life here. It's not a lot, so a few knights could clean this one up. Indeed, double monasteries coming in here, and even a TC from DauT. And these choke points are so good for crossbows in the middle over here. One of the reasons why Aztecs are so strong. +2 armor is missing for Dziam here, which is a massive concern when you're fighting against crossbows. And Castle Age is there for everybody but Jack. I feel like this is where it starts spiraling out of control, because DauT is gonna have the middle with 5 Aztec relics, potentially converting some knights over here. And in the meanwhile, Jack is having troubles defending his own base. Jack still probably will have the weakest eco, and his crossbows are also exposed to knights very soon here, which is a concern. Now, credit to Dziam though, he has the exact same villager count as DauT, which is very, very nice, but DauT is gonna have 5 Aztec relics, which is great. So 5 Aztec relics here is going to mean a huge amount of gold income for DauT. Plus he can also get the berries, which means that he doesn't really need to invest into farms anymore. He's fine with fishing and berries. Anyways, for Slamboy, he apparently transitions to another gold mine I don't find anywhere. And yeah, the problem for Dziam is that he's still missing +2 armor, adding some light cav though against the Monkas. In this one, crossbows trying to disrupt the fishing eco here, as Jack will probably try to take an engagement. Bloodlines coming in here as well for Slam, and honestly the problem here for Slam is that doesn't really have a lot of safe gold income. For example, rushing up a TC on this gold mine, and there's light cavs. They are trying to jump into the TC over here, and Dziam is going to disengage. That's a quite nice move. Or the 5 relics garrisoned inside, but indeed, Dziam's light cav plus knight push here could actually work out nicely, but he still needs +2 armor against the crossbows. They're breaking into Slam's base, but Slam is finished with the TC. Some crossbows from Jack from this side could still deny that gold mine though, and that would still be pretty nice. Surtees is up as well for Slam. The majority of his resources are well protected, which is what matters the most, I believe. Meanwhile, for Dziam, he's playing with free TCs. Jack is also playing with free town centers in this one. And other than that, everything looks relatively even, I would say, if you take a look at the villager count. The only concern is that, as I said, DauT has 5 relics garrisoned inside these monasteries, and that's a huge amount of gold income. Anyways, DauT will probably try to focus down on the light cavalry. This is some attempted conversions here, but light cav flood down the monks. Nice micro from DauT, jumping back into the TC. Nice choke point fight there as well. And remember that if you lose the light cav, you're probably going to lose the knights to the monks, so you can't really afford that one. +2 armor just coming in here for Dziam. Meanwhile, knights here will pretty much clean these crossbows up. They have +2 armor and they are Persian knights, so they'll deal extra damage to archers. So Jack is going to drop in military quite massively here, unfortunately for him. And in the meanwhile, Jack trying his best to snipe down those monks. And it appears that Dziam is going to switch angle of attack, and he will probably try to go straight towards DauT's base, because DauT has a slow army in the middle, monks and crossbows, and you could just try to bash your way into DauT's base, who's playing with 2 TCs, and has quite a lot of villagers on stone. Makes me think that he wants to castle the middle and solidify control over the gold, and this is where things get really rough for Jack. Jack has 9 military, and there is quite a lot of Persian knights coming his way. Knights trying to bash their way in here, DauT desperately trying to repair that gate, and it appears that that's going to happen. But still, that's a lot of knights with +1, +2, and only 2 monks. With good micro, you can actually pick off the monks here, as the crossbows might take a somewhat decent engagement if they can actually get into that pocket over there. Some of those knights are low HP. Decent surround from the knights, but still, I'm pretty sure they will be able to clean this one up. Ballistics comes in here, and DauT is going to imp. DauT is having an insane macro behind this one. How is he even going to imp? DauT is playing like a beast in this one. Barracks are being rushed up by Jack, but I mean, they are again just slowly dying. Not really having the military numbers. 5 relics with Aztecs here. Gets a castle in the middle. And unless I think either DauT's eco or Slam's eco is killed very, very soon, the Polish team is out of the event. It started looking promising for them, but DauT has played insane in the recent games, and Slam also was better than he was in game number 1. And yeah, Dziam and JackK are trying, but right now Slam has... Oh, we have a prime sub. Scroy Debu. Thanks for the prime sub, welcome. Thank you so much for your support. So it's 4 TCs for Slam, protecting all the resources. There is just 0 chance to raid and kill a lot of villagers without losing those knights. And in the meanwhile, we could see Garland Wars Elite Eagles coming in here for DauT. He already has the castle up, so when we actually see the Imperial Age, we're just going to see Garland Wars as well. And Garland Wars Eagles will clap knights as well here. Dziam is not even close to clicking into Imperial. And I just wonder how many resources or how much gold those relics gave to DauT, because it feels like a lot. No one else is even close to clicking up. Look at that. Now, being honest, that's a lot of knights from Dziam, so if he finds a way to get into DauT's base, for example through an overchop like that, and kills 20-25 vills, things could still get rough for DauT, because then he's not going to be able to replenish his army. But basically Dziam needs to kill DauT right now. Kill like 20-25 villagers. Even then it is a tough comeback. But this is basically now or never. Crossbows breaking into Dziam's base though, with 0 hope of defending. Look at that. So yeah, sure, DauT loses a few villagers, but Dziam is also going to lose quite a lot. No Imperial for any other player, and that's a lot of Monkas as well. Yeah, Slam is also adding camos, which makes life a little bit harder for those knights. But on the other hand, there is quite a lot of pikes and crossbows here from Jack, so this is actually a pretty decent fight for Jack. But yet again, how do you push the castle? How do you deal with this aggression? DauT losing a few villagers, but it is still not a massive issue. But he's gonna have Garland Wars Elite Eagles very soon. Now, crossbows can still deal decent damage to the camels, and being totally honest, we have Imp coming in here as well for Dziam. And he has quite a lot of cavalry. He could actually take this fight and destroy the army over there from DauT. 18 idols for Dziam because of all these crossbows breaking into his base. He needs to deal with this one. Something needs to be done, like a mangonel or something. But, oh boy, I don't see this one happening. The elite eagles are just too strong against those knights, and Cam was also taking a great surround. It started looking great. It started looking great in the first game for the Polish team, but then DauT and Slam just took one step ahead. Still, there were some very memorable games. The Enemy Archipelago game was fun, and Arabia was a little bit surprising, I would say. The outcome was extremely surprising, to be honest. And Dziam and JackK really played well, but DauT and Slam are just better players overall, I believe. And it showed in this one, as that army gets cleaned up. JackK is down to 6 military. Dziam still has 23, but JackK is going into Imperial, but imp into what? We are gonna have quite a lot of conversions over here as well. From DauT, I believe. They are slowly dying here. Like, at this point, JackK is having zero army, basically. Trying to get a castle up as a last desperate effort, but still no military from him. And look at that. DauT has converted what appears to be like 4 or 5 knights. 5 knights to be precise. JackK is 0 military. Dziam has 11. DauT has 50 military. Full elite eagle. This is over. DauT and Slam are gonna go into the next round. And I have to say that it was a pretty strong showing from them from game number 2 to 4. Game number 1 was a bit of a letdown from them, but they still played pretty nicely. And credit to Dziam and JackK because they really made this competitive. Especially after game number 1, I really believed that this is going to end up in a 3-2. It ended up in a 3-1, it appears. But still, this was a pretty entertaining series. And I'm really happy that we had Dziam and JackK playing the tournament. We have some samurais popping out still from JackK, but he doesn't really have a lot of upgrades. And in the meanwhile, Dziam is dying. 85 villagers and he's losing way too much. It's 11 military combined for Dziam and JackK, and they are going to call it DauT and Slam, winning game number 4 over here and advancing into the next round. Congratulations to them, and congratulations for Dziam and JackK, because they really made this competitive. There were some memorable and fun games, and I think they can be really proud of themselves that they actually had some very competitive and balanced, somewhat balanced games against expert players. So, with the stats, that is just 140 kills for DauT, 86 deaths, but what I'm interested in is this. In a 28-minute long game, almost 3,000 gold from DauT. That's a huge amount of gold, and that just basically allowed him to get a way better imp time. If you take a look at the imp times, DauT had a 22-minute imp time. The second fastest was Dziam with 27, who actually had a great eco behind that one. So DauT played insanely good in this game. 10,000 gold in comparison to Slam with 6, JackK and Dziam with 7 and 6 respectively. Yeah, 3,000 gold in such a short game is crazy. Also, even if somehow Dziam and JackK hold off DauT's push, look at this. Slam has 141 villagers, so Slam probably would have just snowballed it with cavalry. So, yep, DauT with 14 conversions as well, 59 military. This was probably the most dominant game of all, but still, a memorable series as DauT and Slam move on to the next round to play in the quarterfinals.